Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Mads and today is going to be my August reading wrap up. But also I kind of wanted to do, I guess, something a little bit different and share the books that I got this month, because not only was it my birthday, no, yeah, that's the main reason. It was my birthday this last month. So I got some books. Some I treated myself to. Most I treated myself to. It's fine. The book buying ban is officially on until further notice. But I thought I'd share some of the amazing books that I've got this last month. First one, actually, I'm gonna share the vinyl that I got this month. My amazing roommate and best friend got me two absolutely incredible gifts for my birthday. And one of them was the Louis Tomlinson Walls vinyl. For those of you who don't know, I adore Louis Tomlinson. Like, he's probably my favorite music artist. And this was the first vinyl I've ever gotten, so it's just perfect. And I adore it, and I adore her, and she's amazing. And somehow the second present she got me was even better than that, because she got me the collector's edition of Red, White, and Royal Blue. Now, if you follow me on Instagram and you're kind of like keep up with my posts, you'll see that this was featured on it. And so you've kind of already seen it, but I just love this so much. Like, oh my gosh. And that's the history. I will get a tattoo that says history, one day when I have money. And then the inside is all just so perfect. It's just perfect. And I adore this, and it is my new prized possession. So I think just my best friend deserves a round of applause because she knows me so well. Another book I got this month was also Red, White, and Royal Blue, but this is not my original copy. This one was gifted to me from Elsa. It is her annotated version. She also annotated and sent me One Last Stop about a year ago now, and I just absolutely adored it. And so for my birthday, she annotated and sent me Red, White, and Royal Blue because it is just my favorite book of all time. Funny story, I told my best friend Laurel that Elsa sent me this amazing birthday gift, and then she got really upset because she was planning on buying me the collector's edition of Red, White, and Royal Blue, and she thought I wouldn't want it. I will accept literally every living copy of Red, White, and Royal Blue out there. And then for my birthday, I got myself these two little books. First of all, I got into a bit of a reading slump after Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I will go into later. So I thought that this book sounded really good. I got in the mood for it, and so I just ordered it. I will get into my review for this later because I did read it in August. And then the other book that I bought was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I just can't wait to read this. So I'm very glad that I bought it too, because it's just been going around everywhere, and it will be in my September TBR. So I also got The Hawthorne Legacy from Callis Library, Callis Library. I'm sorry if I'm like totally mispronouncing it, but she sent me this book for Fairy Friday, and it just made my day because it came so close to my birthday. It was just like a little birthday present, and so it just made me so happy. So thank you. And it was such a good book to buy me too, because I'm just really bad at like having the first book in a series and then buying myself the rest. Like, I have too many first books in a series, and so I just add the rest of the series to my wish list on Amazon and just like cross my fingers, I guess, or wait until I can afford them. So that's how I work. Now, I also got 4 books from Barnes & Noble. I ordered them online. I got a Barnes & Noble gift card, and then they had their 50% off all hardcover sales. So, oh, it was 5. I got 5 books. So I literally got like 5 hardcovers for 50 bucks, and that is honestly really good. I cannot tell you what was in that order. I do know, I think it's Andor and Santi Were Here. I'm pretty sure that one is in that order. I think the second Realm Breaker book is also in that one. just because I have really high hopes for Realmbreaker. And I'm okay with forgetting what books I bought because now it'll just be a wonderful surprise. Like, I could look it up right now. I could put in the work, log into my father's account because that's the account I use, and look at what books I recently bought. But I'm not going to because I'm going to go home this weekend where the books have been shipped to, and I'm going to open that box and have a wonderful surprise. So, how many books was that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got about 10 books this last month. But I think those are all the books that I got in August. Most of my reading wrap-ups won't have this fun little addition to it because I don't typically get this many books in 1 month, mainly because I am a broke college student. But I just thought I would share this amazing haul. It was my birthday this last month, so it was just a great little haul for my birthday. And did I get myself half of these? Yes, but it's still a birthday present to myself. It's my excuse for breaking my book buying ban. Anyways, I'm gonna get started on my official August reading wrap up. I read 7 books this month. Not as great as my 9 last month, but 7? I am very happy with that, and I'm very impressed with myself. The summer has just been an amazing time for reading. Like, I literally read so much. To be fair, I didn't really do anything else besides that. Like, I went to work and then I read, and that was my summer. But it's fine. Anyways, so I started off the month with a very heartbreaking read, and that is The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This book is the prequel to They Both Die at the End, and it dives into the beginning of the death caste system. And so it follows this character who is the first person to receive the call from death caste, and kind of his adventure with his last day, and kind of like the first last day. It also shows some other characters that you actually do see in They Both Die at the End, which, when I tell you, I stopped and screamed. Okay, not actually screamed because I was working most of the time I read this book, but I just jaw on the floor. Like, guys, Mateo and Rufus make an appearance in this, and that just broke my heart because, like, you don't get any more of Mateo and Rufus's story, but you get a little bit of, like, before their story starts, and so that just made me so happy. Right from the beginning of this book, I got so attached to Valentino and Orion, so I knew that my heart was just gonna break. I mean, you have like Orion, who is this like aspiring writer who has this heart condition, and then you have Valentino, who is this aspiring model who's moving to New York and like ready to take on the world, and then with like one phone call, their lives just get turned upside down. So this book was a 5 stars. I probably would have cried so hard if I wasn't at work when I was reading this. I love Adam Silvera. Like, I think everything I've read by him has been a 4 or 5 stars. I think I read 4 books from him by now, and the second I finished this, I added the rest of his books to my Amazon wish list because I just need to get them. Like, I will get them eventually. Honestly, my Amazon wish list has turned into my TBR, and I don't know why, but it has. Like, all the books that I want to buy and read are on that list. It's just how I function now. The next book I read was one of the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard books, the last one in the series, The Ship of the Dead. I don't have the copy. I don't own the series yet. I got the copy from my local library, and I just really enjoyed this book. I've just grown so fond of these characters, and that I think, like, no matter what happened in the book, it would have been a 5 stars just because I love these characters. I love Magnus. Alex has my heart. Sam is, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed with her in this book because she goes through this entire book fasting for Ramadan. So she's going through all these quests, not being able to eat all day long, and she is just amazing for that. Like, I definitely couldn't have done that. So she's just amazing. Blitzen and Erstone have my heart. Literally all of them I love so much. You get a snapshot of Percy in this book, Percy and Annabeth together, and it just made me really happy. Like, you get this little extra bit of Percy Jackson, and I know we're going to be getting a new Percy Jackson book this next month, but I just want all the Percy Jackson content, okay? That's not too much to ask. I did love the story. I think it went really smoothly. Each kind of like mini quest just like tied together so well. You didn't even really see it in terms of scenes. I feel like it just all flowed together so well. I loved the scene with Magnus and Alex. If you've read this book series, you know what I'm talking about. I just adore this book, and I think I loved it actually a lot more than I thought I would. Like, I knew I was gonna enjoy it, but I did not expect myself loving this series as much as I did. So I am very pleased with that. Next up was my reread of Red, White, and Royal Blue. I did read Elsa's copy. First of all, I want to announce that she did trick me into thinking that we would be doing a buddy read for this, but really she was just trying to get me to not read it before this book came in, and so she is the true mastermind here. Shout out to Elsa. I'm just so impressed with you. You also lied to me for about 3 months, but that just makes it even more impressive, so I love you. Anyways, this book, 5 stars. If I could rate it more than 5 stars, I would rate it 10 stars. This book is honestly my favorite book of all time, and I know it's so hard to choose a favorite book, but the second I started reading this one, I just like remembered how much I loved it, and I was like, I don't think another book has ever made me feel the things that this book has made me feel. No matter how many times I've read it, I think I've read it about 4 times now. 2 of those times were in the same year. I think I read it once during August-ish, and then again during November in 1 year. And then I read it again, and then I just finished my last reread. It's my favorite book, and I don't even need to think about it or question it. It is my favorite book. This book follows Henry and Alex. Alex is the son of the first female president of the United States, and Henry is the Prince of Wales. And it's just this star-crossed lover's tale, and it's just so, oh my gosh, it just grips you by the heart and never lets go. I just love them so much. Not only a romance book, and that's another thing that I love about it, it also deals a lot with like discovering your sexuality. I know the first time I read this book, Alex and his like struggles to realizing he's bisexual actually helped me realize my own identity. So that just makes this book even more special to me. It also involves kind of just some mental illness representation too. It doesn't dive too much deep into it, like it doesn't bring out labels or anything, but you do get to see these 2 characters struggle. You get to see Henry really deal with both anxiety and depression, and I think Alex struggles from a bit of his own anxiety, and he is ADHD, and you definitely see that a lot in his character in this book. But Casey McQuiston also confirmed that he gets diagnosed later on, like in his life. So not in this book, but later on. I just adore this book so much. Every character is just, I fell in love with them. Obviously, except for Philip and the Queen, they can go away. Like, there's like so many differences, but I do still love the movie, and I think it was really well done. That was my whole summary of all the differences between the movie and the books. Red, White, and Royal Blue literally put me in kind of a depressive episode, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't just that, okay? It was just like other like girl things happening. But also, like, I finished this book and I was like, in such a crisis of I'm never gonna read anything else and like love it the same way I love this, so like what's the point? Like, I'm never gonna love anything the way I love this book. And that really just put me in like really bad like slump and just depressive episode. So that happened. But luckily, I was able to move on from it. No, I probably won't love any other book as much as I love Red, White, and Royal Blue. If you have suggestions, please give them to me. I'll always accept book recommendations or even a show movie recommendation that kind of is the same thing that's not Young Royals, because I've already seen that one. Not season 2. Don't come at me. The next book I read was Reverie by Ryan LaSala. This one was interesting. I think I put a lot of high hopes into this one coming out of like Red, White, and Royal Blue. I was like, I need a book that'll like put me back on track, and this one just like really seemed to call out to me. It was a 3-star, I'm not gonna lie. And I think a lot of people feel kind of the same way about this one. I enjoyed the main character. I enjoyed the hint of romance that we got. There wasn't much, but it was like a good sprinkle. Okay, so the book is about this boy who gets into this accident and loses his memory. There's a big chunk of his life just missing, what happened with the accident, and then some little pieces about his life. Like these random things that he's just like, I don't remember this happening, which is like really weird. So there's like already this mystery surrounding his memory. And then he gets wrapped up into this world where it is revealed that he was once one of these people who unraveled these reveries. And reveries are when people's dreams like kind of like grow out of their head and kind of become like a whole reality, and they can be really dangerous or they can be really good, but these characters work to unravel them as safely as they can without anyone getting majorly hurt or destroying the person that the reverie is from. That premise is just really amazing. I think that I would have liked it a lot more if you got to see Ryan with the others and like his love interest before the accident. It would have added a whole lot more stakes to it, I think. Just seeing like him like develop this relationship and then it all get torn apart, and then like these people have to pretend they don't know him anymore to make it like all go smoothly. Like that would have broken my heart. I think the fact that we didn't have that just kind of made it feel like we were thrown into the middle of this story, and so I couldn't really appreciate it in its whole. I also thought there was just some character flaws that kind of irked me. I think that the main character, like I enjoyed him, but he was just, and maybe it was just because like they are in high school, but I feel like he went from like, I hate you to we're best friends, or like, I hate you to I love you. And I just like didn't like that whole bouncing between. Like it just felt like he was on one end or the other and he was just constantly bouncing between these moods. And it just irked me a little because I'm just like, dude, pick a side and choose, like stay there for a while and like slowly work your way to the other side or something. Don't just like bounce between them. This does have a queer romance. The main character is queer, but you also get a prominent character who is a drag queen. I kind of loved her. Her motivations didn't make sense. I will say that. A lot of the motivations in this book didn't make sense. There was a lot of holes, but it got me reading again, so I can't be too mad. Next up, I read Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan. This one was a 4-star read. I had a lot of high expectations for this book just because something about it was just calling out to me, and I just have wanted to explore Jennifer Dugan as an author for a while now. So I was just very excited to read this one. I thought like at the beginning of the book it was hard to get into because it just felt a little cheesy, like just some of the interactions, and it felt like you had this just very cliche, I feel like, with sapphic couples where one is this like tough girl, she's a car girl, like she doesn't do relationships, and the other is this like more innocent, happier family life just kind of girl. And at first I thought like that was like dynamic here, and then I got kind of annoyed because I'm like, there are other sapphic dynamics to explore. But the more I got into this book, the more I really got to see like the beauty of the story. Yes, it is a YA book set in high school, so it does have those like kind of juvenile elements. And I think honestly the way that these two main girls' relationship carried out was very high school. They kind of went from hating each other to crushing on each other to like being in love, and I feel like that honestly fits high school relationships pretty well. Not that I would know, but from what I've seen, it just seems like, you know, you're not as like emotionally mature, so when you think you like, when you like somebody, you're kind of like all in sometimes, and you definitely see that with these two. You also see Morgan's struggle with having kind of been outed at her last school and her wanting to make everything right in the world just for queer people. And so you kind of see her like take on this role of like, what can I do? And her just trying to discover like what is something that she can do that will make her happy and will make a difference in the lives of like other queer teens. And so that is, I think, a really cool storyline because that's not something I see often, at least in books. So I loved getting to follow that. And then you also get to see Ruby following her own struggles with finding herself and being the person she wants to be and not the person that her mom wants her to be. So I also thought that was just really good. And so overall it is a 4-star. There are some moments that I found a little cheesy. I didn't love Ruby and Morgan's chemistry. I don't think they're going to be endgame, but I did love the story that was being told. And I think I liked the way it was told too. The next book I read took the crown for August's favorite read, and I really should have read this sooner, and I'm sorry. Elsa's been telling me too that I would like it, and I just need to take her by her word. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Sáenz. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. I understand why this book has so many awards on the cover. Right from the beginning, I was like pulled into this story. The writing is just so beautiful. It's like poetic, but it's also still very direct and blunt. Like you don't get like lines and lines of like prose you kind of have to analyze. No, it tells you straight up, but the way it's told is just so beautiful. And this entire book is just poetry. Aristotle and Dante, I love them. You get a real strangers to friends to lovers here, and that is one of my favorite things. Like, I don't like childhood best friends to lovers because I like seeing them go from strangers to friends to lovers and each like building up these components of this relationship. I just loved it so much, and I feel like it is kind of falsely advertised as a romance. Romance is not the main thing in this book, and I did go into it thinking I was gonna get this really cute queer romance, and you did. But that's not the main thing. You just get to see Ari become like the guy he's kind of supposed to be. And he really goes through so much character development. And you don't only get to see him struggling with his sexuality, because I think that happens more in the next book. You just get to see him be like going through high school and he's like, who am I? And that's something I feel like most people go through. And that's not often shared about, but the way this is shared is just gorgeous. It's just so real. I feel like the people in this book just feel so real, and the way they act and interact this book has my heart. So this was a very obvious 5-star read. It was just beautiful. I loved every aspect of it. I read it in like a day. I devoured this book. Please read this book. It also gave the perfect summer vibes. Like, it does mainly take place during summer, and it does like circle through the school year, but it's mainly summer, and just I love. My 7th and final read of the month was Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World. Once again, just an amazingly gorgeous piece of literature. That's my best friend. Anyways, I finished Ari and Dante and just had to go to the library and get this one because I don't own it, and I really should get it. I actually added it to my wish list, surprise, but this is definitely like a priority buy for me. The next time I break my book buying ban, it may be for this book because it is just gorgeous. I do see what people mean when they say they don't like it as much as Ari and Dante, and that it's just like very dragged out and unnecessary. If I love a book, I will accept any more content about those characters, whether or not it has a plot. This book didn't really have a plot, but because I got more of these characters developing and growing and like finding themselves some more, I think it's a 5-star read. You really get to see Ari and Dante's relationship develop in this one, and you get to see Ari's relationship with his dad really develop in this one, and it's just so touching. And you get to see him make friends, and they're all so fun. I love his friends. And you just get to see him come into himself, and you get to see him like really transform from a boy to a man. And I just thought it was beautiful. I thought it was really beautiful. I do think some parts were a little dragged out and unnecessary, but at the same time, it gave me more of Ari and Dante. So I really can't complain. I just adore this book, and I'm so glad it is as long as it is because it just gave me more of them. Also, I think at one point I was reading this book and there was literally just a single tear running down my cheek. And I feel like that sums up this book. For September, I have a little bit of a TBR, but really I think I am just gonna go off my mood for the most part. I think I've done really well this summer sticking to a TBR, and I'm gonna let that go a little bit. I do want to stick mainly to fall themed books. So if you watched my books I want to read this fall video, then most of these, actually all of the books I'm about to talk about are in that video. I am going to start off the month with Thieves' Gambit by Kavionn Lewis. I butchered the description for this book in my last video, and I will admit to that. I'm really bad at describing books, especially if I've never read them before. Apparently, I think this is about a competition with thieves, and you follow this main girl and her, I think it's kind of like an enemies to lovers kind of thing. I don't know, but the cover looks amazing. Ever since I started seeing Penguin Teen post about it, I knew I needed to get it. So I won the ARC of it, and last time I filmed, I did not realize that I had the advanced reader's copy until I saw that this doesn't come out to the end of September. So I'm gonna start out the month with it, tell you guys my thoughts, tell you whether or not you should buy it and whether or not you would enjoy it, and I can't wait to do that. First actual ARC, go me. Next up is another YA mystery I also have the ARC of, but it's already out, and that is One of Us is Back. This is a conclusion, maybe the conclusion, really don't know anymore, to the One of Us is Lying series, and I just genuinely can't wait to see these characters in action again. I can't wait to see where Nate and Bronwyn are, or Cooper and Addie. And I know those four aren't going to be the main characters as much. I know Nate is, but I don't care. I want more of them, and I love them, and they just have my heart, and they always will. So I can't wait to dive into this one a little bit more. I also want to read and annotate Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This one I'm not entirely sure I'm going to get to this month just because like I am starting school. Maybe this might be like a book that I read and read other books too. I'm not sure just because it does take me a while to annotate, and I have a lot of readings to do for my classes. 2 or 3 of my classes involve a lot of reading. That is how school goes. So I'm hoping to get to this. I'm gonna finish it by the end of fall. I do know that. I don't know how long it's gonna take me. It may take me a while just because I am annotating it and I may not prioritize it. I may just read multiple books at the same time just to make it a little bit easier. Another book that I am definitely going to read this month because it is the Found Family Book Club's pick for September is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've talked about it a little bit, but this book takes place within the FBI and this special unit where these teenagers come in and kind of like help the FBI. I just can't wait to read this. I heard it just has a great found family, and so that's why my Found Family Book Club picked this. Also, if you want to join, let me know and I will send you the link to the fable. I'm just really excited for this one. And then the last book for my September hopefuls is The Inheritance Game, also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I do know that the 3rd book just came out in this series, so I need to give it a go, and I know I'm gonna love it. I just need to get into it. So I definitely want to read that one this month. So that was all the books I got in August, all the books I read in August, and some of the books that I hope to read in September. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe below, and I will see you all next week. I hope you all have a great week. Bye!